Our next conversation is going to be about that dialogue and, what do the youth want? Wanja Maina is a youth rights advocate and she's here. She's recorded for us a WhatsApp Nation video and we played it. And now, here she is in studio. Wanja, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Poa sana.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Now you're here, you're live.
Live.
Yes.
Mambo ni live.
WhatsApp Nation. Hii sasa ni wewe mwenyewe.
Yeah.
Uko hapa. Janet is going to welcome you. Of course, you know the drill. She will give you a quote, some words said sometime by someone, and then we'll see whether they make any sense.
Today it's Ernest Hemingway, a novelist and author. He said, "The world breaks everyone, and afterward, many are strong at the broken places." How does that land with you?
The world breaks everyone, but afterwards, many are strong in the broken places. I think it's an encouragement for people who might have met with many challenges, that even when you're broken by life's challenges, if you're a Kenyan, if you're broken by a system that does not care about your welfare, if you organize yourselves and become active citizens, you can be strong. You can work together to have the president revoking the finance bill and the sale of our airport. So my understanding is that it's an encouragement for people who might be broken to know that even after the challenges, they might come together and reinvent themselves, I think,
That's really, that's a really good interpretation.
Yeah.
Reinvent themselves and sometimes even come back stronger.
Yes.
There's something about being pushed to your end and breaking and surviving it that makes you come back stronger.
Yes.
Well said.
Thank you.
Kwani Wanja, what do you do?
Me, I would describe myself as a person who does many things, but right now I'm dedicating myself to finishing my higher education and also running an organization that I founded called the Hummingbird. We do a lot of work around youth, governance, civic education. We're also doing a project around climate justice. But also as an individual, I'm an active citizen. I love to engage with the affairs of my country. Yes.
Always a privilege hosting people like you on this show. And it's deliberate, actually, that we do this. It's something that we set out to do, that every week we shall make sure that we host alternative voices, people who don't get the limelight all the time, but they're doing things, and they're doing meaningful things, and they have a passion for it. Making sure that, we represent the vast majority of this country, young people. We also represent half of this country, that is in terms of gender, and so on and so forth. So thank you for being here. Now, you have, I saw an article that you had written and it was published in the papers where you were saying, the only way to go here is follow our constitution. And in fact, if you look at Article 43 of our constitution, all our answers are there.
Yes.
Before we come into bonging, as has been proposed by national leaders like Raila Odinga, what do you mean by that? What do you mean our answers are in Article 43?
Eric, Janet and Mariam, I would say that in Kenya we've had many instances. It's called the rebirth of a nation. In the first liberation, we were against Muzungu. Go away, you are bullying us, you are taking our land. The Mau Mau kind of a liberation. I might also add that women's role then is not given the prominence that it deserves. Then the second liberation, in the 80s and the 90s, we were saying, now that we've fukuzed Muzungu, the Africans who have taken up leadership are an extension of Muzungu. You are telling us not to be politically engaged. Multipartyism has been suppressed. So that one we have been able to achieve by many standards. People can be able to vote. Women can be able to vote. The issue of them vying is still a debate we might have another day. But now, since we have made notable progress, now we are in what I would describe as a third liberation. Now the third liberation is that we have a new constitution, although it's not very new. It's a teenager because it's 15 years old. And the third liberation is a liberation of people saying, now that we have dealt with our politics to a large extent, we now want to enjoy. Now the enjoyment that everybody would need, any Kenyan would need, is in Article 43 because it's about dignity. We are saying we don't want a lot. We just want people to be able to feed. We want people to be able to go to school. We want people to attain the highest standards of education as it's in Article 43, and also social security for the poor, and people who might have gotten the challenges that Janet has read for me, that they need to be supported kidogo before they become strong. So in my view, the politicians who are giving us politics of like they live in the past and telling us about the second liberation, we have had enough dialogues, we have had enough closed door meeting, we have had the IPPGs of this world. So now the youth are saying all those things we know and we have gone to school. Now we want to enjoy, we want decent employment, we want to have education for the children. You know, CBC looks so funny. Our children who are in grade 9, they don't even know if they are going to secondary school. So I think Article 43 is our third liberation. If you do nothing else and you follow Article 43, you have solved all our problems, in my view.
Yeah. You even talked about a country like Mauritius when you visited.
Yes.
And you mentioned, you know, there's a dignity that citizens enjoy. I often wonder, I know our leaders have been to these countries, they understand what works, they've seen what works. So what do you think is the hesitation in just saying, oh, here's a country where citizens at least are able to enjoy education and dignity? What do you think is holding them back?
I think the quality of our leaders is something we should also interrogate. Stories are told that when they go to those big places, instead of even paying courtesy call to places where systems are working, they go to the meeting on day one, they have a rich per diem, and then on the second day, they are going for enjoyment, shopping. Not all of them, some of them, because you have also seen very good leaders like Crystal Asige, who has been really pushing for inclusion based on the role that she was given. So not to balkanize all of them, but look at a country like Mauritius. At a country like Mauritius, they have said, we might not be able to give you the best, but we want you to have dignity. I might also add that even healthcare, public healthcare is even free for foreigners. What did I do? I tested it. I had a small headache. So I just said, let me go. I didn't pay a dime. So in my view, we have seen even countries that are more populous than Kenya and their attempts to make it equal. In America, I'm sure there's no child who would not go to a district school because of their mother is poor or something. So I think our leaders should also try not to love traveling a lot for the enjoyment. They should also be looking at systems that are working because they travel a lot. They're always on flight. The other day, Gloria Oroba called some certain people Sky Team. I don't know, you know, she talked many things, but I heard that there's a team called Sky Team. So when they go to the sky, they go to Europe, they go to America, they should start asking, there is this care for healthcare. Why is it that countries like Sweden, there is some element of equality where education is free? Mauritius is an African country, an island. So I think our leaders should also think harder around how they see leadership, not to politic a lot, not to think about the next election yet. We have 2 years. If you come to Kenya today, you'd think we have election next month. So there is a lot of love for politics and self-preservation vis-a-vis now the higher calling of serving the electorates.
I'm thinking through, before we get into the dialogue conversation, what are the ways in which you think Article 43 of the Constitution is currently being either ignored, abused, whichever terminology you use?
It is ignored, abused, mutilated, disregarded, it is suffering. Let me tell you, I usually think about health. I can tell you, even this is a personal experience, I interact a bit with our healthcare. I have private insurance, but I also have the SHA. You know, sometimes I see the bloggers of politicians, because they have become the unofficial channels of government communication, talking that the SHA is working. I can tell you that my recent hospital visit, I paid out of pocket, and then when I asked around, I asked them, so what about SHA? And I've paid for the whole year. They told me SHA is covering inpatient. Then I said, I'm not inpatient. You should serve me according to my problem. Now you want me to sleep in the hospital so that you can support me. I can also tell you that even Kenyans of a bit higher economic means, they supplement private healthcare with public healthcare. Because if you go to a private healthcare today, tomorrow, your insurance will be exhausted before you know it, and you have a disease that is taking so long. So I think the fact that when you interact with people of low income, you'll hear them saying, ati tuseme a woman akona mtoto mgonjwa, they usually say, wacha alale tuone vile ataamka. It's like the kid who is unwell in other countries, mtoto akiwa na fever, you take them to hospital, but in Kenya because of fear of bills, unasema wacha lale tuone vile ataamka. You know that thing is very funny because of fear of being paid test utapata you need like 5k.
Right.
So I think health is very important. Highest attainable standards of health. If I can tell you, if someone meets with an accident here, ukienda some private hospitals utambua kwanza lipa, yet in some countries it is free at the point of entry.
True.
So I think health is so important. Of course, now other
It's
issues.
an illegality as well.
Yeah, it's
to
an
deny
illegality.
someone emergency care.
Yeah, but it happens. We've had stories.
Yeah.
Stories have been told. Even issues of education. You saw the university students are always saying, tunainama lunch ipite, because they are so broke hata wakulangi balanced diet. So those things are really speaking into the problem of the youth who are suffering.
Right. So then how do we move from, we've asked this before, protest to people power. What would a people-led implementation of Article 43 look like?
A people-led implementation of Article 43, in my view, first is to listen to people. You know, this calls for dialogues, conclave. By the way, I'm a Catholic. Unajua conclave ni vitu za secret na uko kwenye cardinals wanakaanga, wanabishana hadi kunatoka white smoke. So what secret is in this? What conclave? What secret is this that will be done? But it has been put a makeup atika ni kama Kenyans are talking. If you want to listen to the youth, go to Twitter X. Usikie tu akiweka hashtag we are all Kikuyus, hashtag siri ni numbers, hashtag sijui reject, we are always rejecting. If you want to dialogue with the youth, go to Twitter. Ukiweka hashtag, all their problems are under that hashtag. The youth in Kenya have been talking, even in this show. Even right now we are talking. If you go to even Facebook and TikTok, they are talking. So why do you need them in a room, in a conclave, in a secret? Do you want to co-opt them? We've seen some of these popular youth being co-opted. No wonder the youth are calling themselves tribeless and leaderless because they fear being co-opted and being given stories of the conclave. In my view, we need first and foremost to talk about issues of Article 43, especially health. You know, the national government and the president is always promoting health. However, health is a devolved function. Me, in my stay in Kenya, I've never had a governor promoting a SHA. So I'm asking, if health is a devolved function, the people who are affected by health squarely are the governors. So how come we've never had a governor promoting SHA? Yet that is where their budget goes. So if the governors are not promoting, then there is a problem. I think we also need to interrogate county governments and how they are dealing with some of these issues. I also think we need to listen to our children. You know, when we're talking about grade 9, in Kenya we have a thing of dismissing children. I have a sibling who is in grade 9. So recently we went to talk about subjects. They are being called pathways. These days that they are not given grades, wanitangwa sijui beyond expectation, near expectation, above expectation. And you could see a confused child. So they were being told, sijui choose sciences, choose biology. Then I was asking. So I asked the teacher, because me, I was confused. How is a teenager who is 14 supposed to choose a career pathway that they are going to follow for the rest of their life? What even capacity do they have to think long term for the whole of they are younger than the Kenyan constitution, surely. And I can see where we are coming from. You know, Kenyan government officials, they have a lot of money. Their children go to international curriculums. They go to high level schools. So they don't interact with our curriculum. Yes, they are the ones who are making it for our children. So I think we also need to listen to children and university students. We need to listen to the elderly who might need this social protection. I think it's in the listening that we can get it right. And also to have leaders who are open-minded. Don't always order people, make fun of them. Don't beat the youth in the streets. Because sometimes, honestly, you see the youth are so wako tu hata hawana ubaya. It's some people say that it's the police who bring chaos to the protest, not the youth. So I think listening, finding them where they are, radio, Twitter, could be a step in the right direction.
It would be the way to go. Manja, am I hearing you actually championing dialogue?
No.
Because you're saying that, you know, dialogue is people speak, others listen, and then they speak, right? So if you're saying, listen to all these cadres of our society in whatever they are saying, in various ways, children like the 14-year-old sibling of yours may not be on X, but they are in school. There are those who are not very, very active on X, they're on TikTok. Others are not on social media, and so on and so forth. Basically, you're saying, listen to a cross-section of Kenyans. You'll be able to tell what the cross-section of Kenyans, their pain points are, and then you can distill them into what the issues would be. And once you listen, you can come and say, this is what I'm hearing. Am I right? Yes. That sounds like dialogue.
The suspicion is that it's the politicians who are calling them. But for when the youth are protesting, they are calling the politicians. So I think this that is led with the politician, it is mad with suspicion. There inside there were words like referendum. Some of us would think that it's a diversionary tactic. Even IEBC, their intro is full. Tunangoja by election 23. Sisi watu wa mlima tunasemanga equal vote for 1 shilling 1 vote. So tunangoja boundaries delimitation. So sasa ukishaongezea IEBC another homework ya referendum, time, masani, vitu ni mingi, masani machache. So for us, the suspicion is that this one is led by the politicians, and you know they have not had our best interest in at heart. The other day they told us dialogue wakafanya NADICO. Now that NADICO even did not have whatever representation of the youth. So unlike the other dialogues that have been conclaves of politicians, now we are telling the politicians, don't talk, just go to the people and then find them on X and Twitter. So I think the suspicion is who is calling who. They are now saying ati tutaita majenzis, you representative of workers. These are all tactics. I think these days Kenyans have known how to talk and they don't want to be co-opted. The agencies are tribeless. Yeah.
I'm still on how she said the use of the word conclave.
Yeah.
I'd not even clocked it, and it's true.
Yeah.
It's you think of the Pope has passed and the cardinals are in there, and we're waiting for white smoke. But who has any clue what happens in there?
It's a secret.
And why is it? I've not heard it being referred to as conclave in the past.
Right.
I could be wrong. Maybe Eric
These
can
are
confirm.
dialogues.
It's been dialogue.
Yeah.
So it's
So
it's
see
a
now
strange-
Raila was like, you know, if I say dialogue, you'll tell me there's NADCO.
National dialogue.
Okay, so
let me throw in a
let me
Spanish.
go. Let me be
Kajina,
trending.
yeah.
What has been trending lately?
Conclave. Yeah. What is in a name? Hata ukiita dialogue au conclave au
Talks.
kajina kagani,
Arose by any other name.
it's still a rose. Yeah. I think sasa hapo ndio tumemtreat with a lot of suspicion. Yeah.
So you've also spoken to the fact that it's who is calling who for the dialogue.
Yes.
If it's young people calling the political class for the dialogue, what does that look like?
Wameshawaita Twitter. Hizi vitu.
Hakuna ingine.
You know, the other day, with a lot of sensitivities to the families of the people who lost their children, some people, you know, siku hizi hata we are motivated by dark humor. Walisema ati ukitaka dialogue ufanye na Rix Masai, Ojwang, and some of the names of the youth who have
Lost their lives.
Who has lost their lives, because I think even though, you know, with a lot of sensitivities to their families, it's like we are saying, you have pushed us to so much edge, and then you are acting like you are our friend. The conclave agenda is being championed by Baba. The Gen Z, I remember ile siku, there were some young Gen Zs, the ladies walimwambia we Baba kaa home. I think they were just telling him, even though we appreciate your contribution towards us, the struggle now is that liberation. We just want to enjoy and live in dignity. So the politics that you are bringing is good, but it's time bad. So I think now with that kind of a background, I've also seen, you know, he had a monopoly of calling mandamano, but now people are calling themselves.
It has been devolved.
It has been devolved.
It's a devolved function. Yeah.
You don't know who is the leader. Inaitwa tu siri ni numbers na ina trend. So I think now it's like the suspicion. How people are treating him with suspicion now, it has been a thread of activities where sasa, yeah, that's where we arrived at this point. Yeah.
Speaking of suspicion, you've seen the front page of the Daily Nation there, the arrest of Boniface Mwangi to face terrorism charges. He is one of hundreds who are facing terrorism charges after Saba Saba in June 25th. Your thoughts on this, basically, and the seeming... Okay, let me just get your thoughts on it.
You know, I just first sympathize with Boni. He has gone through a lot. before even he recovers from the tragedy that he got in Tanzania. Now he has another tragedy. Not that Boni has really tried very much to be an active citizen, and he has contributed a lot, even using art and photography to document our modern history. So in that, I give him props together with his spouse, Njeri. That said, you know, the word terrorism is being used so loosely, hadi unashindwa sasa surely ati terrorism. You know, kitambo, the word terrorism had a lot of weight. Ilikuanga September 9th in America, where there is large-scale harm of people. But now, an activist who uses art photography has now been called a terrorist. Then how do we call people who attacked Westgate Mall in Westlands? I also think that this kind of attack is also an extension of the government's intention to muzzle dissent. Remember, there's a time even this media station ilifungangwa siku ya Sabasaba. Ni siku ya Sabasaba? 25th. Together with another TV station, I think 2 of them. Why? Because mnaleta voices za my youth kwa ground. Haya, we've seen there's a time during Mandamano when the internet was so slow.
Throttled, yeah, for sure.
Throttled. Tukambua ni sijui ni cable za underground.
Dolphin imekula cable ama something of that sort.
Dolphin, So now I see this attack on Boni as an extension of the muzzling of the activists, the voices of the young people and the voices of the activists who are calling for change. That's how he's being attacked with terrorism. First, to taint his image amongst people who follow his politics and his activism, but also overall to make another activist to be afraid to talk, because atambua we utakujiwa. I think dictators and authoritarians have a way of instilling fear. So tomorrow if I'm talking and I remember my friend mwenye alipeleka huko akalangata 12 days, 14 days, I'll cower. It has happened in Kenya, it has happened even in our neighboring Uganda. I think there's an East African bad manners, because even Tanzania, they have been arresting my leaders of opposition. Even akina Boni, they met a lot of problems. Mother Karua is going through a lot, alishikwa mpaka kwa airport. So I think it's a coordinated effort with the political class to instill fear on large scale.
And it's weird because it's a wave. It's literally, unless I missed it in the last decade or so, or maybe it was edited not to look like this. But in a lot of countries, there's this new wave as we speak of authoritarian leaders. And at the same time, there's now the audacity of young voices, and it's literally in so many parts of the world. And sometimes you can wake up and think that we just snapped right back to the 90s. I don't know what gives. I don't know at what point. I don't know how it looks different now with the digital era, but something has to give. If anything has shown us in history, because I do deep dives into all these authoritarian governments, I'm like, it broke. So I think, again, there's that hesitation of what will give. Who will give, when will it give? But in all those cases, the people have always won, which also makes me wonder. I'm like, see, you know then. You've seen this before. You've seen it play out. So, and I think they just know dialogue. They know intergenerational dialogue. I was going to ask what that looks like, but I think Wanja has spoken to it. It's like, bring your intergenerational self to where we are.
In any case, the word intergenerational is used to look like the youth are at war with the old, because intergenerational is across generations. And also I've noticed some utterances by senior political officials talking about respect. I remember the deputy president talked about natupe heshima. The president has made our parents look like they brought us badly. You know, you and your children. He has said that a number of times. So as recent as, you know, it's like our parent did a bad job with upbringing, and yet the Gen Z's not problem, but interaction with the government is an interaction of citizenship. We are not your children, neither are you our parents. We are saying the Gen Z usually buy bread at 50 shillings or 60. Even the old buy bread and thing. So we are talking about material needs. And by the way, I might also add that when you talk about intergenerational, you know, the way they were making fun of the Gen Z, ati kazi yenu ni kutembea na iPhone, manakula KFC. You know, in some places, a Gen Z who's like 25 akona bibi, ng'ombe mbili, watoto, kesi kwa chief, akona mimba. Like a Gen Z is made to look like a person without a direction. Anashinda TikTok.
Infantilized.
Infantilized.
Akona kesi kwa chief.
You know, by the way, it's a whole nini.
No, but it is hilarious. So, kweli.
Sindio?
Yeah,
even that bundling.
Gen Z Masai akona bibi wawili. Polygamy. Yani a Gen Z
kesi kwa chief.
Na kesi kwa chief.
Even that bundling of iPhones Uber kula KFC is again to make it now a middle class thing. And the fact is Gen Z is a generation. It is not a socio-economic class.
That is it. Yeah. It's a generation, not a socio-economic class. I think you capture it well.
It's a tactic that has been used, and in some cases, in some ways, it's gaining traction. This tactic at present, I'm not even saying in the past, it has sort of like isolated this whole political noise that we're hearing in the country. It's not as loud as it is, or it's not as widespread as it is. It's just being made by people who have the means to amplify their sound. Okay? But there are few. So it has been isolated into, it is this urban youth, urban middle class youth. If you go into these urban areas and you go into the low society areas, you'll not find this kind of noise. That is how it's being painted. And that's how you see that even in Nairobi, where the president visits, he'll visit these other areas and he'll talk about, you know, the different things that they're doing. We're building houses. You guys are in houses. We have X number of people who are working in these construction sites. Aren't you guys working? Those are youth, right? So it's basically saying, ignore those entitled young brats who have been, and I like this new angle, who have been poorly brought up by their parents. This does not in any way represent the situation across the country. That is how it's been poised and put. And then there's that one small group which just ignore them, on a direction. There are these other ones who are, yes, they're young, but they are being used by politicians who want to create despondence in the country so that they take power. Okay? And these youth have been hired, they're gooned, they're being mobilized, and these are the terrorists. Right? And those are the ones who are coming out and they're just looting and burning things, and they are just also delinquents. Right? And it's a small group. We'll arrest them, we'll round them up and take them to court, and we can deal with them in one day. The rest of the country, it's peaceful.
Yeah. Wow.
That strategy is so old-fashioned. You know, there's a way in Kenya, it is made to look like the only story and the rite of passage ni ka story Kenya. Sikuwa natembea na nilikuwa naenda kwa shule bila viatu, sikuwa na suruali, and then now you show it sasa ati how you have made it. But let me tell you what, even if Janet, your children eat Cerelac and Weetabix, if they talk about suffering, it's still a story.
It's still valid.
If Mariam, you talk about the challenges as a Gen Z, it's still a story. So it's like now we are putting the class and say, najua shida yenu, watu wenye mlikula Cerelac, amna point. We all suffer in different ways. We cannot
ulikosa Cerelac siku mbili,
lakini hiyo ni ku disregard experiences za mtu. I can share about challenges as a disabled Kenyan, lakini watu wananiambia unajua wewe hata uko na privilege, hata ulienda university. Hizo ni challenges zangu za hiyo level yangu. Haufai ku dismiss. So hata Gen Z wenye wako na iPhone,
there'll always be something.
Nini wako na challenges. Haya, hata Gen Z wenye wako huko in the low income areas wako na challenges. In fact, if the president is making fun of the Gen Z, is trying to talk with those who are in low economic areas, it should really bother him that on a weekday akienda mahali watu wanajaa. You know, that's an indicator of unemployment. Kwa sababu in other countries, I was following the UK elections, the Conservative and the Labour. I like the Conservative leader Kemi. Wao wanaendanga jioni, ama wanafanya tu town hall, ama wanafanya na Zoom. But in a country where unaenda mchana watu wanakujalilia, au watu walikuanga idle, you know. Of course sasa that is also a whole story. So hizo stories are social economic, ni ku create a rift between different youth. lakini at the bottom of it all is that we all suffer. Even the rich usually suffer, even the poor usually suffer. So don't compare ati kuna kusuffer ya hii level na ya hii level. Shida ni shida, you know, as per to your situation. I might also build into it and also say that overall the youth wenye wanapiga watu wanajita gunzi, sasa ni kama Gen Z na gunzi, au watu tu ni wenye wanayuzwa na politicians, but also how's your youth. You know, there has been this year, unajua hata youth wengine wanaiba. Any person who steals is a thief. Usiite youth like I've never had a person saying au wazee wanaiba, like there is a way that the young people wale watu wenye ni goons wanaitwa youth. Sasa kuiweka ni kama kuna youth wezi. A person who steals is a thief. Usiweke mambo ya youth hapo, ni mwizi tu wa kawaida mwenye anaiba, you know, mwenye anapiga watu. So
when the political class is being corrupt, tusemi wazee ni wezi, tunasema these politicians or this and this person and that person are thieves.
That is such an important point. It's an invalidation and you're basically targeting. Sorry, there's Harrison from Nairobi. I think Harrison from Nairobi is on the line. Harrison, I hope you can hear us. Good morning. Do you have a question or contribution you'd like to make?
Yeah, thank you so much. My name is Harrison Mumia, the president of the Atheists in Kenya Society. I'm following the conversation, really interesting conversation. The first thing I want to just say is the characterization of Gen Z. Who is a Gen Z? Gen Z was initially characterized as somebody who was born between a certain age, you know, I think 1990 something to 2020 something. But I think if you look at what's happening in the country, a lot of Kenyans are not happy with what is happening. It's not just the young generation. Me, I'm not a Gen Z. I'm above 35 years. When Boniface Mwangi was arrested yesterday, Kivuta Kibwana condemned it. He's not a Gen Z. Orengo condemned it. He's not a Gen Z. I think what Gen Z has come to characterize is a dissatisfaction with the way Kenyans are being led. Now, the protests that happened in 2024 and now 2025, a lot of people have, been abducted, died, and so on. As a person who is above 35 years, I'm always on TikTok condemning it. I'm always on X condemning it. And for me, I would like us to look at Gen Z from the perspective of all the Kenyans who are against bad governance.
Yes.
And I can tell you, everybody is a Gen Z in this country right now. But I like what the young people are doing. What they have done, and this is what I think we need to appreciate. What they have done, they have taken this descent to a level. This is the first time I've ever seen. I've seen protests in this country, but this is the first time I've seen people going into parliament. This has never happened in Africa. So we are seeing a different kind of generation, young people who are saying we are demanding proper leadership. Now, the second thing which I want to talk about, so I'm a Gen Z, by the way. Everybody on this platform, you guys are Gen Zs. So it's not about age, it's about what we are trying to do as Kenya. We want a better nation. Now, the second question is...
As you do the second one, just please be a bit brief because we're running out of time. But yes.
Okay, fine. The second thing is, thank you. I'll be very quick. The second thing is, I totally reject this conclave. Let us go to the ballot. Let us keep protesting. Let us defend human rights. And then let's go to the ballot. Let us have a fair election. And let us just get a leader that we want through a democratic process. Mambo ya conclave tuachane nayo. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The atheists don't want to go into conclave.
Yeah.
Atheists don't want conclave.
Thank you, Harrison.
Thank you.
He's spoken to something that I think we've already established here, that I think now when we say in the context of Kenya, Gen Z does not mean, yes, born between 1997 and 2005.
You may change that, and Gen Zote.
Yes, it is anyone that's against bad governance, that's for accountability. What do you think of that?
Me, I agree with him. In any case, even in a struggle, different people play different roles. Kuna spies, kuna watu wa kupikia watu wenye wana fight, even in the Mau. Kuna watu wa kukua like wanajua vitu za wazungu but wana spy hawa. Lakini pia kuna in Kikuyu we call them tokonias. Tokonias are the people during the Mau. They used to wear gunia so that now wakistaki Africans wao Africans wasijue ni nani wanawastaki, so they were being friends with the Muzungu. So that's why we've seen some Gen Zs being co-opted and behaving funny without mentioning them. So in a struggle kuna mashida mingi, but just to even say ata lawyers, but also there's something that people are trying to, it's like a narrative I've noted, it is looking like this thing now is so new. The young people in Kenya have been very active. Take an example of Gitobu Imanyara, whom you hosted here. Gitobu Imanyara right now should be like 69, 70.
He's 70.
But 70, sindio? Lakini he was fighting for Motipate in 1990. Haya, people who were born in 1990 are 35. So when at the heart of the Motipate, he was 20s and 30s. Tomboya used to take Africans to America, and Tomboya was doing it in akiwa ma 20 something. So he even had connections with white people. Adi ni alituma Obama apatikane because the dad was a beneficiary of the airlifting. So without him hata tungekuwa na Obama and a black dad. What I'm saying is that if you look at the history of Kenya, young people have not at being passive. Ni vile wapeango credit. Kebake and Tomboya are behind the session paper number 10 of 1965, which is a blueprint. Hata tukifuata pia hiyo ni better kuliko conclave. Kibaki by then was like 30, 39, 31. Sabu it was 1965 and he was born in 1931. Even Dedan Kimathi zile picha tunaonanga zake, anakaa tu alikuanga Gen Z by the standards of that time. When people like Waboi Otieno wakipigania bwana yake na hizo mashida zote, she was a young lady. So I've seen even you are a Gen Z and you are contributing to the struggle through mass media. Janet, we know your work with the empowerment of women. Eric, we know your work as a journalist. Isikae ni kama ati sasa tu ndio tumeinvent youth, ni vile atuwapeange credit ama maybe ni vile sasa wame take it by storm. Lakini in every generation, even in the 60s, even in the 70s, the youth have been part and parcel of the struggle. Even of course there have been sasa wale youth wenye wamekuwa wakitumika na system, lakini pia kuna wenye wamekuwa wakistan. Martha Karua is a notable woman in the social political history of Kenya. She became an MP in 92. She was 32. She was a Gen Z by many standards, even a woman by then. So isiekwe tena ikae ni kama youth tukua tumelala tangu first liberation tena second, sasa ndio tunaamka. No, we have always been part of history, vile tupeangu credit, and also overall vile history ya Kenya inaona youth. You know some proverbs tunasemanga ati mzee akiwa chini ya mti, youth akiwa juu ya mti, mzee anaona mbali kuliko youth akiwa juu ya mti. So it's made to look like hata ukiwa young bado hauna auelewi vitu. But in my view, youth have always been active. They have always been campaigners of politicians. Vile sahi wanasema, it's not our job to vote, we also want to be voted. Sasa ni vile roles zime change. That's why sahi inakaa kitu mpya, but it has always been a struggle of the Gen Zote. So I agree with Harrison,
I think you're a good
breakdown.
Right?
Very
She's
good
a
breakdown.
great student of history. I think you're a great student of history. So I wanted to ask you what then we can learn, because the advantage we have is that we have people who have done it before and they are alive and well and they're willing to share their knowledge and to impact, to impact us with all that's in their heads. So yes, what can we learn from, in your view, from previous generation struggles, beginning with the most recent, which was the fight for multipartyism, but all through, there have been many mini liberations, all through.
I think the first thing is to encourage the people who came before us, first liberation, second, to document their work. So as much as tunaskizanga Orori teacher wanatupea story, someone like Toby Manyara usually have stories with him, even someone like Kabando wenye walikuwa majenzi then, even Mother Karua, although she has documented her work, I encourage the Gen Zs of the time, former Gen Zs wenye walikuwa second liberation, to document their work, because history inakuwa outlive vitabu. True. I enjoyed reading Mother Karua's book. So that is the first step. The second step, like as Kenyans ama vinye sa tunaongea hizi vitu za youth, I would encourage us to have a paradigm shift kwa kichwa, so that now youth akijipresent, you know, even because some of these changes are also through the ballot, so youth akijipresent kuvae muskamuone ni kama mtu ana pesa. Like, you know, elections in Kenya are very expensive. There was a research that shows that an average MP wanakuwa na 20 million za campaign. Sasa youth mwenye ako 25, 26, hata ukiangalia zile miaka amewak, haezi kakuwa na 20 million. So it gives the older politicians and the incumbents a competitive advantage. I am a Christian. The story of Jesus was a Gen Z, by the way, because he died at 33, and we remember him. He was a youth actually, and he has had a lot of impact even in the history. Now Jesus was very good with using parables to teach. In one of the parables, it's called the parable of the seed sower. He talks about a farmer who was sowing seeds. One thing that Christians should remember is that farmer had the same seeds. It's just that he threw one seed in a bad ground. There's another one that was thrown in a fertile ground. The other one was thrown in a place where the birds ate it. So what I'm saying is that the problem has never been the seed. The problem has been where the seeds are falling. If you present yourself as a good seed to vie for the MC or the MP, it is the bad ground that will say, haka kasichana kadogo, nikasile kuinuko na bwana, watakuenjoy, you know. Hauna mtoto, we hujatoshea kwa skirt. So the ground then will treat you badly.
True.
But it's the same seed of love for
the seed is
governance.
good.
The seed is good.
Hold on to that thought, Wanja. We have somebody who's calling in from Migori, and his name is Lota. Lota, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Oh, I'm also fine. What I'm saying, I've been in so many countries, but the way our leaders approach the youth normally provokes them. Because if you say you went to school with barefoot, without shoes, it was during those days. And after school, during those days, jobs were available. But now, you find a youth finishing his first degree, coming to master's, and when you go to these where matatus are, you find them calling Dandora with their masters. So when there is no job, look for a way to address them, not to undermine their visions. And by that I mean the president is not bad, but the advisors who are feeding on the name of the president normally misleads him. So when you say you want dialogue, because you are forced to do that dialogue, that is not what should be happening now. What should be happening is that we find ways to create jobs by bringing in investors for small industries.
Right.
Like the countries they go and sometimes say about the countries, the leaders, you find them on public means. But in Kenya, you find an MCA, you can't access it. How do you address somebody that you can't access?
Right. Sorry,
Until
Luther.
you are forced.
Quick question. How do you know it's the advisors that are the problem?
Because I can see how they come out with statements. Instead of advising, how do we listen to this? Because they are eating every day, they don't know what the problem is. Their kids are going in big schools, they have money to pay. And when you come to the local MPs, you find an MP of your area has chosen a few people to surround him.
Okay.
So that anybody who wants to see the MP cannot access it. And if you do access it, you are first of all filtered so that they know what you want and why you are going to see.
Thank you, Luther.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We have a few minutes. We're coming back. Wanja was making a point. Some very quick feedback because I don't know if we'll have another chance. Gilbert Manyasi, Wanja is a great analyst with real examples. Angela Githieki is also saying Wanja is a delight to listen to. She knows what she's talking about. The Kikombe, the definition of conclave hit right. No bonging. Then there's also... I thought I saw a question. My apologies. But thought I'd get to that from Hong Kong. This is Robinson Kisero. There's nothing to conclave about. We've talked enough and now we want action. The problem with the president is that he knows everything and all of us are wrong, but we will not relent. What we need as youth is a movement, a political vehicle so that we are on the table and not on the menu. I'm seeing youth representatives of parties, but not youth for youth. That's Jay Steves.
All right.
Yep.
You are speaking to the parable of the seed.
Yes.
The parable of the seed sower.
Yeah.
So the seed, hizo seed zote ni wale watu wanajitokezanga wazuri wenye wanasema mi nimewaka kwa community, lakini wakishaanguka kwa backgrounds wanapata mashida, wanapata kuambiwa you are young, wanaambiwa you are not from the right tribe, wanapata mashida. So I encourage the Kenyans also not to be a bad ground, so that the seeds will not grow. So that if tomorrow the women present themselves, just listen to their political manifesto. Don't tell them unajifanya juni or autapewa because they are a woman. Just complementing the point of the previous caller. Amesema ati, we say Mariam si mbaya, wala wamemzunguka ndio wabaya. Me your point sipendi because si wewe umedecide wenye wamekuzunguka. If you are looking for advisors, most of the politicians juu tunawajua, advisors zao ni political cronies wenye wali lose elections. Wenye wali rejectiwa kwa ballot. So kama unataka advisor wa vitu za gender, na vitu za period poverty, chukua ule msichana mwenye anaelewa hizo vitu za ma period poverty. Kama unataka economic policy ama agricultural policy, get the experts in the agricultural policy. Shida ni kuweka square hole na round peg. Kwa sababu sasa unachukua ma political rejects na tena unachukua mabishte wako kwa reward advisor roles. So usiekelewe wenye umemzunguka, ekelea wenye wanatafuta mtu wa kumzunguka. So if you get the wrong advisors, shida ni wewe, I think also I can also summarize and say, when all is said and done, unajua economist wanapenda kutupea stories zingine mrefu na tucholea graphs. Lakini at the end of the day is about people meeting their material needs. Food, shelter, kukula, kujienjoy, getting health. So even as we conclave, even as we talk about the big things, sijui agenda what, affordable housing, vitu za juu, at the end of the day people want to meet their material needs. Food, shelter, vitu zile basic. Like I know today kabla siku ishe you will take water. In Kenya, kwanza in Nairobi, like water is a big problem. Balcony badala zikuweza kuunwind na kumeditate na kuweka
storage
na alafu mitungi zote zinakuwa za yellow. Yani balcony zetu zinakanga tu vibaya. Like badala utupe story mrefu ya policy, kwa nini balcony zetu
tanki kwa balcony
kama mitungi
weka maji kwa tap.
Like my own balcony yenye it should have been enjoyable. My landlord aliweka kimtungi kia black. So I wonder what to do with that space. Juu hata ukitaka kudecorate aikai poa.
Unataka ku Instagram your plants, but there's a mtungi there.
That is it. So badala ya story mingi wacha kwanza to meet material needs, badala ya promises mingi to meet material needs. Watu at least ile unakaa unajua hata kukienda aje mtoto wangu anaweza enda kwa hospital na anaweza kula kamil. Alafu hizo stories za huku juu ma policy hizo zitakam baadaye.
They can come secondary. Mtoto wako ataenda high school poa, my university student wataenjoy. So those are the issues that I am focusing
going on. Ndio tusikue tena tunaongea so much big stories, tunasahau the material needs.
The material things, yeah. We're coming back just now to officially say goodbye to you, Wanja. Thank you so much for coming. It's Mikali who's with us today, right?
Yes,
it's Mikali for Your World. It's coming up next. The topic is letting go of what no longer serves you. In other words, boundaries. Out with the old, in with the authentic. We have Wakonyo, who's a panelist. She's amazing. She's been on Fixing the Nation before. Then we have Cleopa Njiru, and we have Moria Mwangi. So yeah, letting go of what no longer serves you. That's coming up next.
Mary Mikali,
yes,
with you on Your World. Also on Nation FM, Claudia Naisabwa and Brian Aseli will be on the Vibe Shift. Backbench. I mean, that's all I want to listen to. I'm just saying, Mkinichese, I'll be very happy. But let's get a parting shot from you, Wanja, as we close. What are we bonging? What should we bong? What dialogue should young people be having with each other?
Yeah, I think the young people to have with each other is first to enjoy. You know, in Kenya, we are so stressed. Hata ukiangalia venye watu wanatembeanga kwa streets, anakugonga na elbow, they are just walking, wako na vitu mingi kwa kichwa. I think we need to relax. So I think hiyo show inakuja ya getting rid of what does not serve you. I think we want to get rid of the noise by the politician.
I call it joy as a form of resistance.
Joy is a form of resistance. Tuchukue, I wish over Kenya where tunashare hata photo poa, sio kushare ati everyday hashtag ni release, release who is being held sijui where. So I think the youth should also try to enjoy. Issues of mental health are quite interesting. I saw Aga Khan University saying that 1 in every 4 youth have a mental health situation. But also at the same time, also let's reject the politicians who bring division. Let us do issue-based discussions. And since the ballot is more powerful than the sword, in 2027, let us be fertile grounds where we shall sow good leaders.
Thank you.
Well said.
Podcast iko wapi, Wanja?
Nagoja mnisaidie kutengeneza.
Sawa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Huyu akona production outfit mzima. Atakuita tu ukae chini.
Yeah, thank you Janet for the pro bono.
Straight up. The Wanja Maina podcast coming out soon, courtesy of Janet Bogo Productions, Janet Bogo Media. Thank you for tuning in to Conversations today, all of them from the beginning to the end. This is what we do, one conversation at a time. We'll be back tomorrow morning, God willing, from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Have a lovely day.